I want to say, first of all, good morning. It's a good day for Democrats. I'm Pat Willer, chair of the Douglas County Party for just a little bit longer. So that means that we need to move this along because I have an ambitious agenda for today. But because we've got an election to run, one last election for the year. This month, our Saturday seminar will be brief because we will transition into the Central Committee meeting at the end of the Saturday seminar. So we're shooting to try and end Saturday seminar by 10:30, give or take a couple minutes, and then on to the Central Committee meeting, which is made up of the precinct committee people who will elect the next set of officers for the executive committee. And everybody, if you aren't a precinct committee person, you are still very welcome to attend, to stay. We do have cookies at the end. It could be a draw. Ellen's Colossal cookies are colossal. But the only ones who are allowed to vote, everybody gets cookies, only precinct committee people and the secretary of the party are able to vote. So we will have, we will have a brief program this morning before the election. Damian Gilbert, who has served as our political director in this last election season, will share some data from the election, and he is en route. And he is no longer en route, he is here. Aaron Johnson, who is the campaign manager for Chris Manna, my favorite campaign manager, will also speak briefly, not that briefly, but pretty briefly, because we're squeezing it all in as well. First thing I want to do is say some thank yous. First of all, to our elected officials, and I'm not sure who among elected officials is here today. I thought I saw Marcy Francisco. Also a precinct committee person. In front of her is Karen Willey, county commissioner. Also a precinct committee person. And have I missed anybody?
Our sheriff is elected.
Is he? Yay! Okay, our sheriff, Jay Armbruster, is here today. But I still can't see him, but that's okay. All right. Okay. And Becky Plate, Eudora School Board is here. Keep them coming. Anybody else? Okay. I also want to thank all of our candidates, some of whom are not here today, but who showed the courage and the conviction to run. We are very happy about the people who ran and won, but we also are just as committed and just as proud of the candidates who ran and didn't win. And I'd have to say that in terms of our tickets for national office and for statewide office, those people were really good candidates. And it's important for us to support them and continue to support them because that's how ultimately we're going to win. It was razor thin in some spots, so we got to keep it up. I also thank all of you who have volunteered and donated to help us elect Democrats, retain judges, and defeat an amendment that would have greatly weakened separation of powers in Kansas. Thank you also to our Saturday seminars, Jeannie and Mark Cottrell, Lois Orth Lopes and Steve Lopes, Marilyn and Kurt Hall, who have really kept us floating this year so that we could be in the Lawrence Art Center. That is greatly appreciated. Thank you to the terrific executive committee and advisory council members who served with me. Nora Murphy, Kevin Hall, Wayne Ricks, Jim Brook, Ryan Ellett, Amy Castle, and Penny Von Auken. A couple of these people are not able to be here today, but we really appreciate their work over this last term. And especially I want to thank Bruce Roberts, whose intellect, leadership, skills, and work ethic made for a great partnership. And so really, my co-chair, Bruce, has been great to work with and a great servant to the party.
Thank you very much, Pat. It's clear that we worked well together, and that's because we both gave effort to one another. And we met weekly for the last 2 years, and often beyond that. So, Pat, I couldn't have had a better partner. So thank you for encouraging me to run. I'd just like to thank all the PCPs, especially new PCPs, because you all know we work hard to recruit you to help the party grow and be strong. I just really had a great time. I'd like to shout out to Kurt Hall for inviting me in March of 2020 to organize volunteers. That's how I got started. And I learned a lot from that, which I hope to pass on to the new team. And thank you to all these people who are running to be the new team. Delighted about that. Thank you.
Next up, we will hear from David Berkowitz. He is an institution at the Saturday seminar, and he will be asking your help in paying the rent next year, print the literature, and all the other things we need to do to get out the vote. David?
I hadn't realized I was an institution yet. Well, obviously we have a lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving, especially the midterm. But we need to remember that we got a lot more to do. We really did. We didn't win the midterms. We kind of broke even, taking the Senate and losing the House, but that was better than a lot of people thought we were going to do. And it was something of a relief because of which Republicans, for the most part, got beat. But we are going to need money, as you can expect, and I've been asked to once again ask for money. We are going to need to pay rent at least through February, and I think maybe we're going to try to keep headquarters open. Now, we're not going to raise enough today to pay the rent for the next year. If we do, I won't ask for any more money. But please give what you can, and remember, if you can't put anything in, don't take anything out. Thank you.
And we will keep going with the program today. While David does his business, we will do ours. I have one announcement for one more event for December 2022, and that is the happy hour will be Monday, December 5th at the 6 Mile Chop House at 6th and Wakarusa in the shopping center there. So now we will turn to our program for today. Damian Gilbert, our political director, is primed and ready, I think, for a brief highlights of the election. Is that right? All right, come on down.
I did get a haircut. Thank you for noticing.
You are just under pricey, right?
Oh, yeah. Is this thing on? Okay, it is. Just waiting for slideshow to pull up. But yeah, my name is Damian Gilbert. For those of you who don't know me, I served as the political director. I was hired on, I believe, in May to help the county party basically have a full-time person that is running things. I've got, design skills and a lot of political experience, so was brought on to run our field program and wear a bunch of different hats. So it has been very fun and rewarding to work with everybody, especially, I've got to thank Pat and Bruce for wanting to hire me, and to the executive committee for voting to allow me to be hired, which is great. So yeah, it's just been a really fun experience, and working with Amy and Josh and all those guys. It's been a fun time. I have to fill time here. I would tell you if I knew. I am available. Say what? Well, that's unfortunate. Do we have a solution? Cool. Sure. Well, I had that in my presentation, just a little review of, of what we did. I can go over that briefly. We just skipped to the general election stuff when we get it pulled up. But yeah, and to review, during the primary, it was actually a higher turnout rate than the general election, which is crazy. That does not happen, ever. And that just speaks to how forcefully a lot of people felt about that issue. And we weren't really sure what was going to happen, whether winning the primary was going to, boost turnout if people were primed and ready to go out and vote again, or if they thought that, hey, it's over, we won, and they wouldn't turn out as much. Thankfully, it didn't dip too much, but it does seem like some folks thought, the work was done and we don't have to do it again. I don't have to preach it to the choir here, but it's never over. The work's never done. Just because you win one election doesn't mean you sit out the next one. So, but yeah, so the turnout rate was 50 in Douglas County was 57% for the general election. In the primary, it was 59%. But both of those numbers were higher than the statewide turnout average. Statewide, during the general election, the turnout rate was 51%. So Douglas County was a full 6% higher than the statewide average, which is really good. Even though our county voter turnout shrank that 2%, it went from 59% to 57%, that shrinkage was a lot smaller than a ton of other counties reported. In the Kansas City metro area especially, turnout dropped by like 10 to 15% based on, depending on what counties you're looking at. I read that Wyandotte County had 14% lower turnout rate than it did in 2018, despite having 9,000 more voters than they did in 2018. So they might want to hire me to help them with that situation. So yeah, it's, I don't want to give too much away, but I don't know that we have a ton of time, so I.
If you'd like to, Aaron is here and has some remarks to make as well. Why don't you hand off to Aaron, and if it gets fixed, we'll get back to you.
Sounds good.
Okay. That gives you a little time.
Sure. And if it doesn't get fixed, I can just get it.
Yeah, and it's not.
I don't know if that was for me or for Damien, but either way, I appreciate it. See, for the past year, I've intentionally stayed away from lights and cameras, so this is a bit of a transition. But for those of you who don't know, my name is Aaron. I was Chris Mann's campaign manager for our race for Attorney General. That too is also interesting because I also avoided that for a year. So, but first off, I just wanted to say thank you, particularly to the Douglas County Dems and to Pat. So whenever we needed anything, whether it was to organize an event or to give money or to organize more events and to give more money, because campaigns are expensive, apparently. You guys answered the call, Pat answered the call, and it was incredibly helpful. Dealing with north of 80 county party chairs, it is nice to have county party chairs who are excited about doing the work that is at hand, and I can certainly say that here in Douglas County, that was the case. I did want to, again, say thank you, because, again, that really did matter. That's the first part. The second part, on behalf of the campaign, I just really want to say we appreciate the work that everyone did to knock on doors, to make phone calls, to send texts, to write postcards, to send letters. This is a very, very, very close race, and every single thing mattered. I think when you add it up, I think we ended up losing about 16,350 votes or something like that, but who's counting? Also looking at it notably, probably the closest AG race in a very long time in Kansas, certainly since 2006, and certainly over the last 3, because I think they were all decided by like north of like 15 points or something. But this was a very, very close race. And that inspires me to keep going, and inspires a lot of folks to keep going. I've shared with a few folks that I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I have agreed to stick around Kansas for a bit. I was here in 2020, fell in love with the state. Always said the first chance I could to get back here, I would, and I didn't think that would be in 2022, but I'm happy that it was. So I'm going to be around for a bit. I don't want to take up too much time. Feel free to reach out if anyone ever needs anything. You guys have my contact info, and if not, feel free to share it. And anyway, but look forward to sticking around for the next few months and excited about what's next.
Thank you, sir. It doesn't look like our projector is going to get working soon, so that's all right. Just technical difficulties. So I'll just take a look at what I've prepared and present to you from way up here. All right. All right. So I'll try to do this without, you won't be able to see the visuals, but that's all right. A little bit about our GOTV programming. We did canvassing and lit dropping, both in the primary and during the general. In the primary, I believe we ordered the exact same amount of literature, both in the primary and the general, and we distributed all of it. So that was 12,500 pieces of literature that we went through for the primary, and the same number, 12,500 for the general. And we distributed those both through lit dropping, which was our main focus, and through canvassing, which during the general election we did with, in partnership with Common Sense Kansas, which was the Kansas Democratic Party's coordinated campaign. They focused on door-to-door stuff. So basically we found a way to work in tandem with them, invite our volunteers in, and if they wanted to lit drop, they could lit drop for us. If they wanted to canvass, they could canvass for the coordinated campaign, and they were kind enough to distribute our literature as well in their door knocking, which was important, as we will see here in just a second. We also sent thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of texts. During the primary, we did over 60,000 texts. I didn't run the numbers for the general, but we did the exact same thing with the exact same parameters and everything for the general. So it looks like we sent over 100,000 texts during this year. Both during the primary and in the general, we sent our first text we sent during the cycle was a vote by mail promotion. So the second you could apply for a mail ballot, we sent out a text to our target voters promoting chaosvotes.org, where you could sign up for a mail ballot. We also sent a text the day that early in-person voting started. We sent a special text chasing everybody, all those ballots that were mailed out to people who requested a mail ballot, but hadn't returned it a week before the election. We sent a special text to just those people. And then our third text that everybody got was our day before the election, go out, get out and vote. Here's your polling location with the correct polling location information, which was helpful because a lot of people, as you know, received incorrect information through text. But our stuff was correct, and I got a lot of responses thanking me for telling, for texting them the correct information. During the primary, we did digital advertising. We had a spot with Governor Kathleen Sebelius was kind enough to film a quick 15-second spot for us, and we blasted that out all over social media, and we paid for that to be placed specifically targeted at the IP addresses of our specific target voters. So it wasn't just blasted out willy-nilly like on TV. If you pay for a TV ad, it's just whoever's watching the TV sees your ad. But our stuff was directly targeted at the exact people we were trying to reach, which is great. We had about almost 250,000 digital impressions. 64% of those were the Sebelius video. 36% were banner ads that we designed that said, vote no, get out and vote no by August 2nd. So that was very cool, but digital advertising didn't really lend itself to the general election because our message was more complicated. It wasn't just vote no. That's very easy to put on a banner, just vote no. But vote for Democrats and vote no on the amendments and vote yes on the Supreme Court judges. That's already too many words. So digital advertising didn't really fit into our general election plan, but it was very effective for our purposes in the primary. Now we are going into the general election results here. I already said the Douglas County turnout rate was 57%. That was lower than the primary and the 2018 general. In 2018, Douglas County's turnout rate was 62%, so we dropped 5% from 2018, but that is a much smaller drop than a lot of other places saw, and our voter turnout was still higher than all the other counties that re-elected Governor Kelly. So in Johnson County, it was 55%. In Wyandotte County, it was 37%. In Sedgwick, it was 46%. In Shawnee, it was 56%. Our turnout rate was higher than all of those counties, and that's important because this is a lot of Laura Kelly and Chris Mann voters that are in this county. One thing that I noticed going through the numbers that was really cool is that from 2010 to 2016, and perhaps before, I didn't see data before that, but from 2010 to 2016, Douglas County's voter turnout rate was lower than the state average. But since 2018, our turnout rate has been higher than the state average. So we are really doing something right here in Douglas County, and I know that has to do with a lot of the work that Pat Willer and Bruce Roberts and Kurt Hall and a lot of good people have put in. So that's great. We're going in the right direction. Governor Kelly was reelected statewide 49 to 47%. She won Douglas County with 75% of the vote, which is crazy high, obviously. It was the largest margin in the state. And in fact, it was an improvement from her performance in Douglas County in 2018. It was a full percent higher. There's obviously a ceiling as to how much blue you can squeeze out of this county, but we were able to improve on our last margin, which is cool. The Attorney General race was basically the only bummer in Kansas, major bummer in Kansas, and that was 50.8% to 49.2% statewide. It was very close. Aaron Johnson, who just spoke, did a great job running the campaign, and it was tough. But in Douglas County, we once again had the largest margin for the Democrat in the state. His margin was 77%, so it was even higher than Governor Kelly's margin, which we saw in a lot of places. But unfortunately, Chris Mann ended up losing Sedgwick County, I think by like 1,000 votes, which is a very small margin, but that's a bummer for sure, and especially because I'm from Wichita, for us to not go blue is tough to see there. The what I would call the power grab amendment, the constitutional amendment. This is where this presentation gets fun, and I would get dramatic if I was down there. The power grab amendment was defeated statewide by just 9,000 votes. It literally, on the Secretary of State website, when it shows the margin, it says 50-50. So that was an extremely close call to Governor Kelly having a bunch of powers stripped away from her. It was defeated in Douglas County by, the margin was 71% to 29%. So that was a 19,000 vote margin that it won Douglas County by, and it was defeated, or that I guess you would say it was defeated by a 19,000 vote margin in Douglas County. It was defeated statewide by just 9,000 votes. So I went through and did the math. I'm almost done. If we had voted no on that amendment, even by 60%, if it had lost by 60-40 in Douglas County, it would have won statewide. So the fact that Douglas County didn't just vote no, but voted hell no, was the difference in that right there. And I think that that had to do with the messaging of the Douglas County Democratic Party. And why do I say that? Well, here's the big dramatic reveal that I would show you. I'm looking at a map right here of the 105 counties in the state of Kansas. They are all, this is a map of the Sheriff's Amendment. And the Sheriff's Amendment was it was muddy, it was complicated, it was confusing. I know that Sheriff Armbrister is in here, and he is pleased with the result. It ended up winning with 62% statewide, and that is the result he wanted. But we figured as a county party, messaging-wise, it's just easier to tell voters to vote no on the amendment. So that was all over everything. It was on our literature, it was on our text, it was on our social media, it was everywhere. And I'm looking at a map right now of all 105 counties in the state of Kansas. They all voted yes except for one county, which is Douglas County. And it was defeated in Douglas County with only 43% of the vote. So what you can take from that is that our messaging worked. People listened to the Douglas County Democratic Party when we told them the way that they needed to vote. And so, when that amendment was defeated by 9,000 votes, it's because people heard us say vote no. And I would say that the Douglas County Democratic Party and our messaging is why Governor Kelly is going to retain a lot of her power together, which is really cool. It means that we did stuff, and it mattered, and it really affected the results. So thank you, everybody, for all the work that you've done. And it's been a pleasure to work with you.
Okay, let me.
Yep.
Okay, this works better. Thank you very much. Thank you, Damien, for all that you did to get us through the election season. Also very proud. It's sort of like, I was listening to Hamilton the other day. It was like, we're young and we're scrappy, just like our country. But we had a very small leadership team within the office. But Amy Miggs is our administrative coordinator and did a fabulous job as well. And Virginia Wright, who is back at the University of Chicago now as a student, did a pretty good job for a freshman. In fact, she did a great job for a freshman as well. So thank you all. And now I want to say thank you all to all of us. There's that thank you. Everybody here contributed to this election. And that's a pretty good company to be with. So thank you all very, very much. Okay, at this point, we're going to adjust our seating and move on with the next election. We do need our secretary, Nora Murphy, is going to come down here and be a counter as needed. And if you are a precinct committee person, you should be in this audience right here, okay? And if you're not a precinct committee person, if you could go somewhere else, that would help. Don't go away too far, just go away a little. If you are a candidate for the executive committee, it would help if you were down here. And I think there are still some extra copies of our biographies for the nominations in play so far. And we have some extras if needed, if anybody wants. So with that, we are going to move on to the Central Committee meeting. This is a special meeting because it is the reorganization. Things like minutes and financial reports will come at our next meeting, which will be a business meeting. So we are all about the election now. And we will begin the meeting. The meeting is convened. I will take a point of privilege as the outgoing chair. I wish to extend my thanks to all of you for the opportunity to serve. I am grateful to have had the opportunity, grateful for the advice and counsel of our previous chair, Kurt Hall, who provided wisdom and guidance throughout, and grateful to all of you. When I first ran for secretary in 2016, we were all still in shock after the election of Donald Trump, and I think my remarks to you all were that as a grandmother, I felt responsible for trying to do what I could do to help fix things, and that we're not done yet, but those kids still have to be raised. So that work continues, but I also was one of the many people who said you can't stay in bed all for the next 4 years because, you're going to need coffee at some point. And so for those of us who came out, got coffee, got wine, got whatever it took to keep fighting, we really are in such a better place than we were in 2016. And I thank you all and challenge you all going forward. So, with that in mind, let's do some electing. I gotta check the notes. Okay. We will now move to the nominations for chair of the Douglas County Party. At this time, I have received one nomination for chair, Melinda Levon, who is somewhere there. And I also, we are open to more nominations from the floor. This would be the nomination for chair. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other Yes? Yes, there were 84 precinct committee people. A quorum would be 21, and as Nora previously reported, we have 44. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I know while I was counting the money, that at least 3 or 4 people came in that are precinct.
That aren't or are? I think Nora thinks she got them. Okay. Yeah, she was hanging out back there doing that. Okay. All right. So, a final call for, are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, the nominations are closed. I will ask the nominee for chair, Melinda Levon, to say a few remarks about her candidacy.
Thank you, Pat. I don't know. Stay there. You're still the chair. Good morning. I am Melinda Levon. I don't always write my name on everything. Like, did you know who Bart Littlejohn's campaign manager was? I mean, probably not, right? But so I don't write my name on everything, but this year I did bring you Vote No Kansas, and I think all of you enjoyed that a lot. I had a really great year going around the state telling everybody that it's cool and fun to be a Kansas Democrat, and it's really great to be a Douglas County Democrat. And people across our new congressional districts in CD1 and CD2, they're not sorry that Lawrence is part of them. They love being connected to us because you guys are great. I love our Saturday seminars and the high quality programming that we do. I love and I really look forward to all the candidate panels we're going to have this year. I can't wait to see who runs, right? And we want to do some things like David mentioned, keeping the Democratic office open year-round. That's something that we haven't done here in Douglas. We would only be the second county in the state to do that. But I want you to have a place to come to talk to potential candidates and talk to each other and get new people to join the party's party. And you have to have a space to do that. So I think we're going to find a way to keep the office open for all of you to use. So those are just some of the things that I would like to bring to you and do for you, and I appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Melinda. We will now move to elect the chair. The chair would, since there are no other nominees, the chair would entertain a motion to vote by acclamation. Wait a minute, we have a move from who? Motion came from? Did somebody get that? I can't hear it. Steve Lopes, thank you. And a second from Cole Brown. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, then we will move to vote by acclamation. All in favor of Melinda Levon for chair? All opposed? Excellent. I am pleased to hand over the baton and the microphone to Melinda Levon, who will be running the rest of this meeting and helping lead us for the next 2 years. So.
Look at Pat run off the stage. You didn't know she could move that fast. So, thank you so much. I really look forward to serving all of you, and I appreciate this opportunity. I can't do anything by myself. I'm up here by myself right now. We know that we have to work in teams. And so the next thing we need is the rest of our board. Don't worry, kickoff isn't until 2:30, but we'll be done in just a few minutes. I did see, and hopefully you also got in your email box or got handed today, a list of other candidates. As of this time, there are one nomination has been submitted for vice chair, secretary, treasurer, sergeant of arms, and 5 at-large members. I would like the other candidates to come up and say 1 to 2 minutes about themselves, if they would. Anybody? Come on up. Come on up. Caleb. Come on, Josh. Why would you like to be my vice chair?
Hi everyone, my name is Josh Wassinger. Just a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Hayes, America. I've lived in Lawrence for the past just over 4 years. During that time, I worked for the Kansas Democratic Party for a year as their finance director and over 3 years as their operations director. I've previously served as the treasurer of the Ellis County Democratic Party and an interim treasurer of Ellis County. I've been increasingly involved with the Douglas County Democrats. I recently started a small business where I provide compliance and political consulting to campaigns and committees. So I've had clients like the Douglas County Democrats, Christina Haswood for Kansas, Mark Holland for Kansas, some out-of-state PACs and congressional candidates as well. And so I've been sitting in on executive meetings for 5 or 6 months now, it seems like. So I've been very involved with that and keeping the financial records of the county party. I'm running for the vice chair position because I think that our county party does great work. I would like to help promote the party better, expand our reach, get more voters registered as Democrats, get more members within our organization. I'm also a huge proponent of keeping the office open year-round. And so, I think that my finance, compliance, and logistics skills and experience could be of value to the party, and I'm looking forward to diplomatically serving the voters of Douglas County and the county party if you will have me as your vice chair. And I look forward to visiting with any of you, and yeah, there you go.
Thank you. I'll have Caleb come up. Caleb Cottrell is running for secretary. I will mention that Jenny is unwell today. She's sick. We appreciate Jenny keeping her germs to herself. Jenny is running to be our treasurer. She has a ton of finance and fundraising experience and expertise, and we really look forward to having Jenny join us as soon as she gets over the thing.
Hi, everyone. My name's Caleb Carell. It's great to be with you all today. It's my birthday. It's my 38th birthday, which means it is my 20th anniversary of being a Democrat. And so I think it's a great way to spend the day being here with you. I come here from Ottawa. I moved here to finish my education at KU. When I was in Ottawa, I actually served as the Franklin County chair, and I ran for the State House of Representatives 10 years ago down there. And so I live here in Lawrence now. I became a precinct committee person this summer for two reasons, mostly because of the gut punch we got from the two court cases. One, the redistricting, which put the new congressional district lines literally right outside my front door, and the Dobbs decision. And I knew that we had to get involved. I had to get more involved, and I've done that. I've been out canvassing, and I've been volunteering in the office at the headquarters, and I think I'm ready to step up and lend my experience working in a small town in a rural setting to up here in Lawrence, now that we share the first district with so many counties similar to where I came from. So I look forward to meeting with you all and getting more acquainted. Feel free to contact me if you ever need anything or want to reach out and help. So I'm really excited about the new leadership team we've got and the opportunities for the future. So thank you. I appreciate your vote.
Kevin, can you come up for a moment? Also not with us today is Ethan Sperling. Ethan has COVID. We appreciate Ethan staying home today. Ethan just got engaged. He's 29. He's a very strong Democrat out of Pittsburgh and the southeast of the state. He's here with us now. You probably saw him all day long at Maple Leaf. If you stopped by Maple Leaf Festival, dependable guy, just kept his COVID germs at home. He'll be joining us as well. And this is Kevin Hall.
Hey guys, how are you? My name is Kevin Hall, and I am your current Sergeant at Arms for the Douglas County Party. I want to first start off and thank Bruce and Pat for everything you guys did. You know, really appreciated working with you guys. You guys really did really good. Some little stuff about me. I came from Fort Scott, Kansas, where I was the Bourbon County chairperson there. It's pretty red down in Fort Scott and Bourbon County, so we were like 5% of the Democratic Party there. So we helped build that a little bit more, and then me and my family decided, you know, we needed to change. So we thought Colorado, because you know Colorado's a really nice place to be, but we'd be away from our family so much. So I said, you know what? Let's go to Lawrence. We did the research. Lawrence is a really blue town, blue county. So we moved up here about 5 years ago. Ever since then, I've been the precinct committee person for 38. So I've done that, and I would like to earn your guys' vote again. The last time I ran, I said that I wanted to be the voice for fellow Democrats and feel like, you know, I am at the seat at the table, so I want to hear from all of you guys. You know, that's what I'm working for, is you guys. So, yeah, like I said, you know, I appreciate you guys' vote, and rock chalk.
Jim Brooks, did you want to speak at all? Please? No? Please.
Thank you, Melinda. My wife and I have been precinct chairs for the last two terms, and I'd like to dedicate that work to the late Joe Spradlin and Rita Spradlin, who were our backyard neighbors and kept us involved in politics and it introduced us, to our first opportunity to really serve. I'm from Hutchinson, Kansas. I came here to go to college. I stayed here for almost all my adult life, working in industry for the state of Kansas, for the university. And so I've been around the community a lot and appreciate the challenges of people not so fortunate as I have had in my life. I had a minimum wage that meant something, that meant I could earn my way through a college that was affordable. That's not true anymore, and that's a sad thing. I had the opportunity to live here in Lawrence, Kansas, among people who felt that education was important and that made our family capable of another generation of people who enjoyed the fruits of democracy and our local government. So those are the reasons that I want to continue working with the Democrats to support this party, which is on the right track, and to do our best to resist the influences of the other party that have continued to cascade downward and against those opportunities that I've experienced in my life. So thank you. I'd appreciate your support. I can't wait to get behind Melinda and the rest of the team. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a couple more at-large members that their nominations have been submitted. Amy Castle, can you come share a moment?
Thank you, Melinda. Hello, good morning. And I want to echo thanks to Pat and Bruce for your leadership and your tenacity, and your work ethic is just amazing. And Pat, your diplomatic skills are just nuanced. So I'm a Johnson County transplant. I came here to teach at KU in August of 2016. And then an election happened in November. And I didn't know what to do with my grief, honestly. So I went to Washington, D.C., and took my 15-year-old daughter, and we marched at the Women's March. But I knew I needed a better way to get involved. So I started looking around, and I saw that the Douglas County Democrats do this thing called a Saturday seminar. And I went to my first Saturday seminar in February of 2017, and I was hooked. I really was. I was like, there is this group of really smart people who believe in the same things that I do. And the rest, as they say, is kind of history. I've been very involved with the Douglas County Dems since then, and I've also served on the advisory council for 5 years of the committee. The reason why I wanted to be on the advisory committee, or on the advisory councils, I told Pat, I was like, I don't want to have to feel like I must attend all the meetings. I just want to go as I please. Well, I attend every single meeting. So I've decided I would like a vote, I would like a seat at the table, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
I didn't know Jim was from Hutchinson. You know, Hutch and Reno County, they're in CD1 now with us, huh? Yeah, that's right. Right? We're home again. And then Amy Miggs, at large.
Hello, I am the other Amy. I'm actually going to take a brief seat because arthritis strikes when arthritis wants to strike. My name is Amy Miggs. I've had the privilege of working with the Douglas County Democrats this past year, working with many of you, especially with all of our summer activities. I grew up just outside of Kansas City and, like many others, became involved in advocacy work in 2015 when we really started to see that mega wave of extremists feeling more and more comfortable openly targeting underserved groups. Since then, I've worked with and helped organize a number of groups serving LGBTQ communities, disabled communities that really need that extra support, need that seat at the table. And then this summer, we saw, a lot of those people really turn out, get involved to vote for the first time, get involved in marches for the first time, which was amazing. So if elected, I would like to help build more conversations, build more relationships with those groups and the Douglas County Party. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And then I do believe our Wayne is not here today, right? Wayne is at another meeting this morning, I think. Yeah, and Wayne is out there. Wayne is here! You made it! I'm trying to excuse his absence. Yeah, that's fine. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. I don't have much to say. I'm a quiet guy, Most people don't know me about me. Oh, you don't believe that? Okay. Well, I'm originally from Newport News, Virginia. A lot of people don't know that, but I went through Hutch. And Hutch, this is what brought me to Lawrence, Kansas, because they're diehard Jayhawk fans. They told me I would not go to K-State or Missouri, so here I am. All the way. They're doing real well, by the way. I just wanted to share a little bit about myself. Like I said, I'm from Virginia. Grew up in Newport News, Virginia. Came to Hutchinson to play football there. Was recruited by KU in Missouri and all these other losers. And ended up coming to Lawrence. I love Lawrence because Lawrence gave me an opportunity to become more involved in what I believe that's necessary for us to all grow, and that is to come together. To be able to come before a group like this and share my views and not be judged is it's a powerful thing. And what's happening in the world today, this is more and more in what we need. So, but I'm a member of the Douglas County Democrats, obviously, through Lois and Kurt Hall. Kurt was the one that kind of initially helped me to navigate through the system. Pat, Bruce have been definitely involved in keeping that going, and we really want to thank you guys for what you have done and what you're going to do in the future, because I know you're not going away. But I'm also a member of NAACP, which is where Lois introduced me to the Douglas County Democrats. It's funny because I've been a Democrat all my life, but I didn't really know what a Democrat was until I got here to Lawrence. And being in a red state, the corner of the red state, and dominating the state, that's a powerful thing. And that happens only because we're able to go out and share what our true values are, and that is the truth. It's all about the truth. So I decided to go with who's telling the truth, which is the Douglas County Democrats. Those other guys, they need help, and we need to help them. So we can't put them down, but we can go along beside them and help explain to them right and wrong. And once they understand that, they're going to become Douglas County Democrats. Thank you. That's pretty much, that's enough, because I could go on, and they know it. So thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. So you have heard from and read about the nominated folks here with us. There is one nomination for each of those positions. Are there any additional nominations from the floor? Any other nominations?
If someone wanted to nominate me for at-large, I would.
Are you nominating yourself? Oh, okay, all right. Nominated by Wayne, seconded by Lois. Damien, would you like to come tell us why you would like to serve on this committee with us? That means I don't have to be a political director, right?
Well, good news, bad news. I am planning on moving back to Wichita, where I'm from, in the next couple of months. But in the meantime, if you want to elect me to the as an at-large member of the committee, I would love to help transition all the knowledge and stuff that we've done with our past team and help prepare the party for the future. And also, it's just hard to say goodbye to all of your beautiful faces. So.
with the inclusion of Damien. And I like that idea too, because that can alleviate any pressure off of Bruce and Pat on some of those questions of where is this and what's this password? So that continuation continuity can be helpful. Now we have one person nominated for each one of those positions. Any other further nominations from the floor? Any other nominations? No more nominations. I see no more nominations from the floor. Nominations are now closed. We could now vote. If I heard a motion to vote by acclamation. Is that a motion? Is that a motion? The slate as presented. Did you second it, Paul? And seconded by Paul Jefferson, my fellow precinct number 1. And Cole thirds it. All those in favor of voting by acclamation, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, it's been moved, seconded, and approved to vote by acclamation. Those in favor of voting all of these folks in by acclamation, you can clap, say aye, or yell. Aye. Anyone opposed? Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for joining me. We'll have cookies in about 1 more minute. I want to take a poll. This is not a vote. This is not formal. Anybody in the room can raise your hand. Anybody interested in some new swag to show everybody that it's cool and fun to be a Kansas Democrat? Anybody would go for a bumper sticker or something? Stickers? Yes, yes, yes. All right, all right. We have also kind of missed our Party Blue preparation date for February of next year. We currently have April 8th. That's a Saturday. That's the first Saturday after basketball season is completely over. But do look at your schedules and start thinking about that next fundraiser that we need to do so that we can do all the cool, fun things that we want to do as Douglas County Democrats. So keep an eye on the calendar for April 8th. Think about if that weekend will work for you, that kind of thing, and if you can help us get that first fundraiser together with our new team. Anything else? Can we get a picture with all the newly elected? You bet, absolutely. Well, seeing no other business or anything like that, we'll see you at happy hour. Is that right? Yep. I'm sorry. December the 1st is the meeting to look at redistricting to 5 commission seats, and it might be good to have some Democrats there. Do you know the location and time? 6:30, Douglas County Fairgrounds, December 1st. Thank you. And we can put stuff up on our media and stuff too. Thank you. Anything else? Barry?
Yeah, I have a question. When do we elect members to the district committee for our new congressional district?
The congressional committees will be reorganized at Washington Days. Washington Days will be March 3rd and 4th.
But I think we actually will elect delegates before then. But we don't have the canvas isn't over. We don't know what our delegates.
Yeah, that's true. The canvas is not over. The Secretary of State does not have final everything. They should have everything from August now, right? Because the Democratic primary turnout helps determine how many seats each county or location gets on those congressional district committees. I have been in meetings with both CD1 folks and CD2. Everybody in CD1 actually thinks we're great. They're not mad that Lawrence is part of them now. They all just want to be Kansas Democrats together. I think it's great. We had a great time in Garden City, knocking doors out there. I think Jimmy Beard is actually a wonderful candidate. I would love it if a math teacher, Green New Deal, pro-choice guy was my congressional representative. I would be fine with that. So, and I also think Patrick Schmidt ran an amazing campaign. He and his team registered thousands and thousands of new Democrats when nobody else was doing that work in the state. And I think that was very powerful. Yeah, I look forward to seeing how it's all going to shake out. But my understanding is too that the chairs don't know how many people from each county will be on the committee. It is hard to do, especially now that we have 50-some counties in CD1. We know where most of the votes went, but also they can't just have all Douglas County people on the committee. We also need to make sure KDP is asked to, because remember last fall at DemoFest, we did not meet quorum. So we need to make sure that if one person has a vote as a caucus chair or something like that, that we don't also add them to a couple of those committees that make up the general committee. Does that make sense? So one person isn't holding up 3 votes kind of thing. So we need to be really thoughtful as we build those for sure. I'm gonna ask people to do 2 things. Come to meetings, and then if you can't come to the meeting, find somebody to go on your behalf. That's your exit strategy for someday not being in the position that you're in, right? Is to get new people, younger people, or just people new to the area. Bring them to the party. And so come to meetings. What was the other thing? Just keep telling everybody that it's great to be a Douglas County Democrat. That's the other thing. Don't stop talking to people about this, right? Be proud of what we did this year and who we are. Anything else from the floor? Are we good? Do I just say the meeting is closed? The meeting is adjourned.